You're about to hear the story of a guy who promised to completely reinvent finance, all while wearing cargo shorts. But it's also the story of how that promise just completely imploded, taking billions and billions of dollars with it in one of the craziest financial collapses you've ever seen.
So let's just start with this number, $32 billion. That's what the crypto empire FTX was supposedly worth in November of 2022. That was the absolute peak. And just a few days later,
it was just gone. Poof. Vanished. Wiped off the map. And it took the life savings of millions of regular people right along with it. So you have to ask yourself, how on earth does that even happen?
Well, to get how this all went down, you got to meet the man at the center of it all, Sam Bankman-Fried. You can just call him SBF. I mean, one minute, this guy is on the cover of magazines being called the next Warren Buffett. And the next, he's in handcuffs. So who is this guy really? A genius or just a giant fraud?
This was the whole image he built, right? He wasn't some Wall Street shark in a suit. No, he was this super relatable, kind of nerdy genius in cargo shorts and a hoodie. He had this messy hair, and he'd literally play video games during investor meetings. It was all this carefully crafted image, you know? It was designed to make you trust him, to make you think he was a good guy, not a predator. And this was his secret weapon. He called himself an effective altruist. He'd go around saying he didn't even want the money for himself. Nope, he was just building this massive fortune so he could give it all away and, save the world. In the total Wild West of crypto, this guy seemed like the one trustworthy adult in the room.
Which brings us right back to the big question. How does a supposed genius, a philanthropist in training, lose a fortune that's bigger than the entire economy of some countries? Was it just one massive, colossal mistake? Or was it something else entirely?
And the answer? Well, it turns out it's actually kind of simple. Shockingly simple, really. It all boils down to what we're going to call the magic piggy bank scam. And once you see this, everything else just clicks into place.
See, it all came down to two companies that SBF owned. First, you had FTX. Think of that as the piggy bank. It's where customers, people like you and me, put their money thinking it was totally safe. But then there was this other company, Alameda Research. That was SBF's secret side hustle, and you can think of Alameda as the casino, making these huge, insane, risky bets.
So here's how the scam worked, step by step. It's pretty simple. 1. Customers put their money into their FTX piggy banks. They think it's just being held there safely. 2. SBF secretly raids the piggy bank, taking all that customer money and sending it over to his casino, Alameda, to gamble with. And 3. The whole thing works on one simple hope, that everybody doesn't try to get their money back at the same time. Now, this wasn't some simple mistake, messy books or whatever. No. SBF had a secret weapon. He had a literal backdoor coded into FTX's software. This little hidden feature let his casino, Alameda, take billions and billions from customer piggy banks without anyone knowing, without setting off a single alarm. It was basically a ghost in the machine that was designed to do one thing: hide the crime. And for a while, it worked. But a setup like this? Well, it's a house of cards. It's only a matter of time before one little gust of wind comes along and the whole thing just comes tumbling down.
That gust of wind, it came in the form of a leaked spreadsheet. A reporter got a hold of Alameda's balance sheet, and it showed this terrifying secret. The company wasn't propped up by real money like dollars. No. Its value was based on billions of a crypto token that SBF's own company had just made up out of thin air. It was literally like printing your own monopoly money and then telling the world it was real.
That leak? It caused a panic. And that panic? It kicked off one of the fastest financial meltdowns in history. And I mean fast, we're talking 72 hours. On day 1, the news about the monopoly money breaks, and people start to get a little nervous. By day 2, that nervousness explodes into a full-on bank run. Everyone is trying to pull their money out of the FTX piggy bank at the exact same time. And by day 3, the truth is unavoidable. The money's not there. The entire $32 billion empire is worthless. So imagine being one of those customers. You log into your account to get your life savings out, and this is what you see. A cold, hard message. Sorry, no liquidity. Which is just a fancy way of saying, yeah, the casino lost all your money and the piggy bank is empty.
And just like that, for Sam Bankman-Fried and his entire house of cards, the game was over. Done.
But for the millions of people who put their trust in him, well, the nightmare was really just getting started.
And this, right here, this is the real heart of the story.
While SBF and his buddies were living it up in a $30 million penthouse in the Bahamas, regular people, we're talking teachers, veterans, families just hoping for a better life, they were left with nothing. An empty bag. Their dreams were gambled away.
At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's way bigger than secret backdoors or fake monopoly money tokens. A handful of insiders sold the world this beautiful story about the future of money, all while they knew they were delivering a total nightmare of financial ruin to the people who believed them.
You know, it feels like such a modern scandal, but it's an old story. There's that great quote that a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. And it's so true, right? The flashy story, the charismatic leader, the promise of getting rich quick. It just moves so much faster than the boring, complicated truth.
So it really leaves all of us with a huge question. In a world that's always full of big, flashy promises, from crypto to AI, how do we get better at spotting the difference? How do we learn to tell the revolutionary dream from the devastating nightmare before it's way too late?